Ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to our next bout of the evening. This is an elimination MMA bout scheduled for three 3-minute rounds in the super lightweight division. Out of the red corner, Jon Nelson-Griffith.
Super welterweight MMA action is what we have up next for you, fight fans. Again, three 3-minute rounds. Mr. Jon Nelson-Griffith making his way to our Sparta cage right now. Comes to us with a record of 4-2, so decent amount of experience stepping into the cage here. Was speaking off air with Mr. Drew Dober. He's saying he wishes this was his weight class, 160 pounds. That's where you walk around comfortably?
I mean, I don't walk around comfortably at 160, but man, the last 5 pounds getting to 155 is painful. So, man, if we can just call it at 160, I think it'll be a solid. And, the sad thing is, like, with weight classes, we're cutting so much weight to be the same size as our opponent. Like, we all know we're going to be weighing the same amount come fight time.
Right.
So I don't know why we have to dehydrate so much, but
all it takes is one guy doing it, then everybody else feels that they have to. Yeah. I hear you.
It's the unfortunate superpower I have, which is I'm really good at weight cutting, but I hate it the most. So we got John the Ronin. Last name Nelson-Griffith.
Yes.
Out of the blue corner, Franklin Barks.
Mr. Barks on his way to the cage. Not as experienced. Comes to us with a record of 1-0. So he has seen the inside of the cage under combat conditions, but not quite as much as the 4-2 record of the Ronin.
Coming out with a lot of enthusiasm. I mean, getting the face punches in during the walkout.
All right. Jon Nelson-Griffith is the elder at 30 years old, 5 feet 9 inches tall, made that 160 pounds Drew wishes he could fight at. As we talked about, he has the experience advantage at 4-2, shows himself as a freestyle fighter.
And we got Franklin Barks entering the cage, age 19 years old, 5'9", that beautiful weight class of 160 with a record of 1-0. And his style is GB.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is an elimination MMA bout scheduled for three 3-minute rounds in the super lightweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the King of Bears Budweiser red corner. He's a freestyle fighter, standing 5'9" tall. He weighed in at 160 pounds. With 10th Planet Denver, from Denver, Colorado, Jon the Ronin Nelson-Griffith! Fighting out of the Estrella Helico blue corner, he is a grappler, standing 5'9" tall. He weighed in at 159.4 pounds. With judo-like kings from Clifton, Colorado, Franklin Spankin' Barks! Referee Joel Hayden.
Nelson-Griffith wears the green trunks. Mr. Spankin' Banks wearing the Muay Thai trunks this evening. Banks giving his opponent the proverbial stare of death across the cage.
It was brutal, intense. And being a grappler was coming in with those Muay Thai trunks.
If looks could kill.
Round one, are you ready? Are you ready? Let's do this.
Barks coming in with a hands down and a flying knee. A lot of enthusiasm.
Willing to step into range, close that distance right away, try to light up Nelson-Griffith with strikes.
Seems like he's having fun in there, being unorthodox.
Looking like he's going to try to set up a spin technique, maybe. Nelson-Griffith traps that kick and trips his opponent down.
Mark's doing a good job of fighting his way back up to his feet and opening up with combinations.
Couple of hard shots landed there for Barks.
Oh, man, they're both swinging on each other.
Answers well. Big knees from both fighters.
And I think we got a groin strike.
Yeah, Nelson-Griffith, on the receiving end of that, unfortunately.
Marks needs to go to a neutral corner after a groin strike. A lot of fighters don't know this, but you got to go to a neutral corner. Can't go back to your own.
The referee telling him, I know it was unintentional, but you still have to be in control of your striking weapons.
I mean, truthfully, I think it works out in his favor. I mean, he got hit with a good punch, but now he gets some moments to recover. Now, the Sparks came out hot and heavy. I'd like to see him be a little bit more technically sound.
Yeah, had the same intensity in his opening as he did in his stare down. Definitely a ready to get after it individual. Nelson-Griffith gathering himself there and signals he's ready to go.
Time, fight!
And
Back to action.
back to punchy, kicky, choky time. Fast hands by both fighters. Boy, these guys are willing to engage. I love it.
Man, they're just going crazy in there. Nelson doing a good job of pushing against the fence, slowing the fight down.
I was going to say, sort of taking control of the action there.
But Barks is doing a good job of creating separation and not allowing a good head position by Nelson.
Barks working hard to control the head of Nelson-Griffith, doing it with his own head and with his hands. Wise fighting, but Nelson-Griffith able to get the takedown.
Now Nelson's slowly implementing a good grappling plan, improving his position, and now working some methodical striking.
Yeah, Nelson-Griffith is staying heavy with the hips, not allowing Barks to have much mobility off of his back there.
Barks doing some boxing on bottom. I'd like to see him do a little bit more improving the position, but he uses the fence to kick off, which unfortunately turned into a mount position.
Nelson-Griffith, good job
He's got
riding his opponent and lights him up with some strikes. Hard punches coming down for Nelson-Griffith. Barks has to turn to get away from him, and Nelson-Griffith working back control. Barks trying to turn into him.
Nelson hooked up a body triangle. Very hard to break out.
Warning for strikes to the back of the head from Nelson-Griffith. Barks protecting his neck. There's only about 15 seconds left.
Going for a choke, but
Nelson-Griffith.
it's not under the chin, I don't believe. So it's just going to be a neck crank to finish off the round.
That's
but
tight, though.
10 seconds left.
He can squeeze hard from there. Thumbs up came from Barks.
Barks is showing a lot of fortitude in this position. And we're going to see a round two.
Barks sort of gives a little smile getting up off the canvas. And
I mean, it's a lot of athleticism shown by Barks in that round.
no doubt started out with the flying knee and continued from there.
But Nelson did a good job of being a little bit more methodical and being a tactician, taking the fight to the ground and improving the position. And nearly got the submission at the end there.
These guys look big for a 160 weight class. Well rehydrated, I would say.
Very happy for him. 55 might have been too much.
Yeah.
So if you were in the corner of Barks, what information would you give him to improve the momentum?
Watch the takedown. He did a good job with his striking as far as speed, but he needs to be a little more precise in his targeting. Not quite as wild with his strikes. And how about if you're in the corner of Nelson-Griffith? What are you telling him, Drew?
Nelson's got to keep his hands up and be ready for that blitz. And being able to time a good takedown. I think cage control, push him against the fence, and repeat round one.
Wash, rinse, repeat. Ding, round 2. Talked about Bark showing athleticism. He comes out of his corner literally bouncing up and down.
Nelson's doing a good job of being, again, a more technical fighter.
And it serves him well, and a nice head kick, but Barks took it well. We heard that head kick clip him. Barks unfazed.
Nelson needs to, instead of following, cut off the cage. Cut the cage off and don't allow Barks to, control the center here.
Nelson-Griffith was on the receiving end of a couple of hard punches there. It stunned him for just a second, but regathered himself well.
His knees were lifting his feet up off the ground, marched him to the other side of the cage. Barks, again, showing a lot of athleticism here.
Yeah, kept his hips active there against the cage for a minute, going side to side, not allowing Nelson-Griffith to settle into a position. And now it's just shoulder against the cage as opposed to having his back completely pinned against the cage.
Oh,
and a nice
toss.
snappy play.
Right over the mount, now with a lot more time to work. 2 minutes. And then, Nelson gets his big punches. This is going to be a TKO coming up.
You can hear those, unless he calls it back of the head. Nope, he's calling it off. That was the end of the fight. Unable to intelligently defend himself in the face-down position. Congratulations, Nelson-Griffith. Notches up another win, takes his record to 5-2.
I mean,
well done, sir.
That was checkmate.
Ronan, the masterless samurai, goes home with the victory. Barks taking a moment to regather himself. He took a couple of hard shots there right at the end.
I mean, he had his glove up, but it doesn't take away from that concussive damage.
Stewie getting the official time of the referee wave off of the fight. A lot of action in that fight for about a round and a half of action for us.
I mean, that's why I love these elimination bouts. I mean, these guys are really coming here for the kill. I mean, they're not getting paid enough for this, but coming with all the enthusiasm.
All right, here's Stewie with the exact time.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Joel Hayda called a stop to this bout. 1 minute, 15 seconds into the second round. Declare your winner with a TKO, Jon the Roland Nelson-Griffith!
Get excited, Sparta. I'm here with your winner, Jon. Jon, tell me how that went down.
Guys, that was awesome. He's super tough. I did get clocked a little bit there, but I feel like I gave him everything right back. And hey, I know that your corner over there was just saying he's an old man, he's done. Fuck you, man. I'm 30 years old. I ain't done yet.
Get excited, Sparta. Gotta ask one more question. Who do you want to thank for tonight?
Hey, I just want to thank my corner, especially Coach Connor, who stepped up to help me out with this, 10th Planet Denver. Everybody I trained with up here in Denver, and all my sponsors and family back home, thank you.
And back to the fights, here's Stewie.
30 years old, I'm not done. Well stated, sir.